Sir Colts Nation, we are back, and we need to have a talk. We need to have a talk. I know things ain't been too crazy lately, but we got some things to discuss. We're gonna go over all of it. So make sure you get your snacks ready. Make sure you get your drinks ready because yeah, be prepared to just go ahead and carve out this chunk of time because we got some things to discuss. So welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. Sammy, bring us in.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Anvil Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Yes, sir. And before we get to anything, a word from our sponsors. Game On, Week 14 starts now. And every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This isn't just this isn't just football. It's first touchdown fireworks, anytime TD rushes that, and live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. New customers, this one's for you. I'm now a new customer, actually. But when you bet just $5, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. So, and plus you grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 6sports. That's SICKSPORTS, all caps, no spaces. That's code 6sports to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Yes, sir. And with that being said, give me that anvil.
If there was the right button to accidentally hit, the cricket
That was it. That was it. The cricket, but that is wild. Thank you for that, Sammy. Listen, even if I was just a tad bit tired, that woke me up. That was Well, that was a crowd. That was a crowd on Sunday. So
No, it wasn't.
well, except for when the refs were. But we're going to discuss all that, though. We're going to discuss all that. But before we do, how are we doing today, Pat? How you feeling?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around that game.
Yeah.
I believe in the 24, 48-hour rule, not to overreact until, some time sunk in and you gave it some serious thought. And Chris, I'm telling you right now, I am still in those serious thoughts and I cannot wrap my head around it at all. From the first 8 games to the last 4, man, it's night and day. And there's some other things that we're going to talk about tonight. Absolutely. But play calling, I am just baffled by the play calling in the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
I really am. We talked about what the Texans defense is last Tuesday. And if we know what their defense is and we know how to combat it, I know those guys on the sideline that are 1,000 times smarter than us can combat it. And they didn't. They absolutely didn't. And again, I'm just still baffled by it. When you have the pass rush that the Texans have, You dink and dunk them. You ain't stopping them. You don't stop people like that. You find a different way around them. You dink and dunk.
Mm-hmm.
You use your tight ends. You use Josh Downs. Do it 5 yards at a time. I don't care. Move the chains. You've got to move the chains. Instead, you expect the O-line to stand up against the number one defense and give Daniel Jones time to throw it 40 yards.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. He's not ever going to have that time, not with a defense like that. The Texans showed at the very beginning of this game they were going to be aggressive and they was going to come after Daniel. And they did it the whole game. And you did not change up your game plan. Sure, you wanted to get a long bomb off and try to back them off a little bit. I get it. Didn't work. Change. Adjust. You have to.
Yeah. I mean, because and we're gonna talk about all the game, but I mean, it's you're not wrong when you're talking about the play calling, and I think we've seen the play calling this week. It was the play calling defensively. I think last week versus the Chiefs, it was the play calling offensively. Like we are not playing the type of complementary ball for what we saw, where the offense complementing the defense complementing the offense. However it was to start out with, it just hasn't been there this season. Or not this season, but it hasn't been there the last few games. So, well, actually, and while Pat is getting Lil Mooney together, hey, real quick, shout out to everybody commenting. Make sure that you are sharing, liking, all that good stuff. Just want to shout out some people real quick on here. So shout out to Stacy, Teresa. We have Brian in here. We got my good brother Cooley. I think first time in here. May or may not be first time, but if it is, welcome. Then we got our boy Luis. What's going on? Gloria. People still funneling in, but yeah. So it's and I think Luis also brought up something that was that I think kind of goes along with the play calling conversation, right? And it's the fact that we knew that Daniel Jones was going to potentially be playing hurt. And he says, yep, I'm going to go, even though you knew he wasn't 100%. But, even with those limitations, knowing that he's not where he needs to be from a health perspective, I think at that point you understand, like, he can still go out there, he can still play, but you may need to just change some things up. And I feel like for the most part, they adjusted accordingly. However, it seems like at times, and this was something that I had an issue with last week during the Chiefs game, where Shane's just like, oh yeah, he'll just be able to throw us into a good situation, as opposed to just taking it for what it is and just being like, all right, maybe I need to dial up some different looks, do something a little bit differently so we can see exactly, how we're going to be able to make sure that this offense doesn't sputter. And the answer has been pass more, run less.
Yeah.
So
go figure. Your quarterback has a fractured bone in his leg. And you still expect him to do the things that he did before the fracture.
Yeah.
The defenses that we've been facing since Pittsburgh have been nothing but aggressive to us. And you still expect him with that fracture to do the things he did before. I don't get it, Chris. That, I like Shane. I like Shane's play calling when he adjusts to the game. We know he can. We've seen it time and time again. But now we've seen him not make those adjustments enough. It's starting to piss everybody off. And there's a ton of people out there calling for his head.
Yeah.
And when I say head, I mean job. And nobody's,
nobody's
taking death threats or anything like that. It's just a game, y'all. But still, I don't. And maybe we need to get somebody on there that's a lot smarter than me, because I don't understand it, and I won't understand it until somebody actually gives me clarification on why you think it's a good idea not to change from what's not working to something that could work.
And I think that's a because we thought that it was an issue that was just kind of like a Gus Bradley thing, right? Because we just like if it's not working, why aren't you changing things? And if I'm being completely real, and like I said, I know that we haven't had this talk in a while because we were doing well for some time, but I think it's time to kind of have that discussion where with this administration outside of Carly, because I know Carly, like she's newer to the fold, but we've seen her, be willing to pivot, make things move. We see that this isn't working, so this is what it is. But I think from that GM level down, there's a big issue with guys not doing what they should be doing because of the fact that it's almost like you're ignoring what's blatantly out there, and you're just saying, you know what, we're just going to stick with it, it's going to work eventually.
She waved by everybody.
Yes, she's lovely young lady. but the thing is, we've seen this. Like Chris Ballard spoke about it, how he's stuck in his ways. He has thing that he believes in, and that's what he goes with. Like I said, I think even Shane, we're seeing it, where he just recently, like, seeing that he's unwilling to pivot away from the past in the with the offense, even if it's not working. Like we saw that at the end of the Chiefs game, like the offense literally came to a screeching halt. We go into overtime, and you're selecting to receive the ball when you know that your offense isn't moving. And then to start off this game, you have 6 plays, one of which is a run play, and 5 of which are passing plays. So, I mean, like I said, it's this thing where he's just continuously making sure that he's doing this instead of just saying, you know what, my quarterback's hurt. What can help him out right now? Screens can help.
Okay.
Design.
Something else that's really pissing me off is since the Pittsburgh game, we've been hearing it starts with me from coach. It starts with me. I got to be better. All right, dude. When are you going to start doing better? Because you're not.
Yeah.
You're not doing better.
Yeah.
You let Atlanta should not have that game should not have been that daggum close to us at all. But yet you're still saying it starts with me. I got to do better. Okay, dude, when are you going to start doing better? Because if we can see it and we're just fans, surely your big old brain can see it.
Yeah.
Get off the track. That's going over a cliff. You've got the power to change. Freaking do it.
Yeah.
It's just,
but that's
Chris, I'm just so daggum frustrated with this mediocre cycle.
Yeah.
And you can blame Ballard. Anybody else can blame Ballard. I don't blame Ballard because we know what talent that's on this team. That comes from him. The product that we get on the field comes from the coach and coaches.
Okay.
That's the way I see it. Ballard's not down there coaching these guys up. The coaches.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I look at what Ballard does, I look at the talent that he brings into this organization. And in my opinion, it is very competitive talent, meaning it can take us wherever it needs to go. But it has to have that captain steering the ship. It needs its captain or its general directing its troops properly. And right now, we ain't got a captain. Because he's wanting to do the same crap week in and week out. He says the same crap week in and week out. And I like Shane. And for the most part, I like his play calling. But he's in this rut right now, and somebody has to call him out on this shit. Shane, if you're listening, and I hope to God you are, you're in a rut. And only you can get yourself out of that rut. Because you're taking this entire organization down because of this rut. Switch some shit up. Quit acting like every play has to be this big explosive play. No, this game is a fundamental game. And part of those fundamentals is move the chains. Move the chains. You don't go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out and expect to win.
Yeah.
You don't do it. It doesn't work that way. You will get your ass ate up, and we've just seen it in the last month. These guys on this team deserve better. This fan base deserves better.
Yeah.
So, Shane, I'm telling you right now, you need to do better. If we can see how to stop a fast, aggressive defense like the Texans have, I know you guys can see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna, like I said, I think for me, I'm going to generally be on the side of, if you need to fix things, then it just needs to be fixed. And I do feel like Shane, like some of the late game stuff with Shane, like I said, with the Chiefs game, absolutely 100% on Shane.
100%.
But what I also don't want to skim away from is the fact that, like, Lou has been able to draw up some really good plays. He's been able to do a lot of great things, but like the Texans defense or the Texans offensive line generally is not very good.
They look pretty good Sunday.
But that's more to my point, right? Because you should be able to at will get to that team and do whatever you need to in order to put yourself in a position to dominate in the trenches. And they didn't. And, like I said, whether you want to blame not having Buckner or whether you want to say that the pass rush wasn't good, it just wasn't. And
it wasn't.
like we're not. And so the thing is, it's just like, I think in this case, understanding what you have with that team, you didn't take advantage of one of the biggest glaring weaknesses that you have, where when you start to put pressure on CJ, he's going to make a move. Now, like I said, I know that Sauce got hurt during the game, so that probably just threw a wrench in things because, now you have your guy who's essentially going to be your number one for that game, and he's now out. So, I want to be able to say Shane, Shane is irritating me right now, but honestly, I think as a whole, the team itself right now over the last 2 games have shown that there's some things that need to be fixed ASAP. And like I said, I like Shane too. I think he's a great coach, but I'm not going to solely put everything on him, even though for the Chiefs, I put that on him because you had your defense out there for 42 minutes knowing that you can do some outside runs with JT and you can run clock down. You can literally probably do about 5 more run plays in the fourth quarter, and you're no longer allowing the Chiefs to get back in and force you to overtime. Like there has to be a change. And like I said, and with Carly seeing how everything's going, I'm sure that they're hearing all of this stuff. Like they're hearing this ad nauseum and saying, yeah, there's something that definitely needs to be fixed ASAP. So absolutely not. It's way too much. There has to be a change because now you're no longer in a situation where you can say, okay, yeah, we're comfortable. We can still do whatever. Like Jacksonville's creeping. Matter of fact, Jacksonville isn't creeping up. Jacksonville's caught up. And the
Jacksonville
Texans are creeping
surpassed.
up. Yes, they like literally they're right there. And then the Texans are now one game behind, and now they're forcing you to have to win that Week 18 game. Where if you won that game, and let's just say Houston plays the Chiefs this week, if they win that game, you have to go into Jacksonville and handle business because now Jacksonville will have the absolute lead on you. And then Houston now pushes you down to third. Like they're like right now, this team they're dealing with adversity. But they're dealing with adversity in a way where you're going to have to right the ship quickly. Otherwise, I mean,
It's going to
find
get out of
yourself
control, and you ain't hitting the playoffs again.
Yeah. So the thing is, I don't, and here's the thing: I don't think that we don't make the playoffs. Like, I don't think that we don't make the playoffs because I don't believe that this is going to be just an absolute utter collapse. I don't. Are we having some issues right now? 100%. But I don't think that this team is going to absolutely collapse. If I had to bet on it right now using code 6 Sports on DraftKings Sportsbook, I would say
That was pretty slick.
But no, if I had to say like what I believe it is, I'm going to say wholeheartedly we probably still end up being a 10 to 11 win team. So like I said, that's all. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just going to say it's just like I believe that's going to be how we respond. And this team has to grow a Lucas Oil Stadium size set of balls to make sure that they actually go ahead and get this turned around. Because, like I said, this team, like you can't be a team. You can't be a team that is going into this part of the season and you're not playing with some moxie, you're not playing with some type of emphasis on the fact that you understand the severity of the situation and you're going and you're rising to the occasion. You gotta be able to make sure that you are putting everything in front of you. You make sure that you put it right there and you are taking every opportunity and you are killing it. Like you have to. So I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh yeah, well we're gonna see, we're gonna hope and see what happens." No, you have everything in front of you, so it's just like make this as do or die as you possibly can. So that way, it's just like you're treating this the way that it is. Every game from here on out basically is a playoff game if you want to get to playoffs.
Facts. Now, Colts House, I just see you think, if you're still on here, answer this question for me. How often are we getting burnt by our linebackers covering these receivers? Because it's still happening. It happened all day Sunday. If we can see it, why can't these coaches see it and make adjustments?
Yeah.
Colts House, I need you to respond to that one.
Yeah. And also, hey, by the way, just still want to make sure that we go ahead and just shout everybody out because more. Shout out to Blue Nation. Shout out to Flex. Shout out to Chris Dinkins.
Scott,
shout out to Gloria. Yep.
Andrew.
Andrew, Dean, I will forgive you for now. You are Patriots fans, and that's completely fine. You guys have gone through hell. I'm always anti-Patriot, so I wish you would go through more. But we still appreciate the support, though. We appreciate you guys. Of course, Raheem, Derek.
Dean and Andrew's family to me, so y'all be nice to them.
That's cool. Hey, we love you like family, but F the Patriots.
They are family.
Yes, they are family. Okay, fantastic. F them. Like, it's just not y'all, the Patriots. The Patriots. F them. Yes, forever.
Well,
yeah, Boston as a whole.
Andrew's a Texans fan, so you can F them too.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true also. So, You know, but shout out to Colts House and Scott. Also, I did want to miss y'all, but no, but like so, like I said, and one thing, this was something that, of course, that we talked about. I think everybody kind of said something about it. The officiating wasn't where it was at all. The officiating was awful
Yeah, that's
for that entire game.
Colts House has answered my question. We can't protect the second level, which only
Magnified.
okay. Yeah, I think that's what he meant. Magnified from lack of pass rush. Yes, we have solid secondary. The Ward seems to lack motor, but we need to apply pressure. Okay. So, see, do we need to add pressure? Absolutely, 100%. But I think that only puts more heat in the middle of the field in those linebacker ranges. You know, y'all know I love Z to death. Z's done nothing but been good to me. But he's not a covered linebacker. Pratt did decent this game, but he sucked before. You know, that means he's going to suck again in coverage. You know, they're going to have to bring somebody in that can stop that middle of the field, 8-9 yard passes every single time. You know, at the beginning of this program, Chris, we talked about fundamentals, move the chains. Anybody can move the chains on us anytime they want in the middle of the field. And that's sad. That's not a top-ranked defense, if you ask me.
Yeah.
If you got that kind of hole. And that pisses me off with the talent that's on this team.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's the biggest issue right now. Like it's and like I said, so the thing is, and I don't want anything to ever be confused. It's not that I like Zaire. I like who he is as a person. I like I'm from New Jersey. Like I said, he's from Philly. As far as that, like I get him. Like when he talks, I'm just like, I feel like I'm back home. This feels fantastic. But the issue that you have is that I feel like Zaire, for a good of a tackler as he is, he's not one of those guys that is just going to be able to kind of translate well into this kind of defense. And that doesn't mean that he can't be who he is or that he's not a good player. It just means that the facet of his game that normally works very well for him no longer is a strength as much as now it's kind of like you have to go out there and you have to make a move. You have to do something accordingly. And you're not. Like we talked about this before the season started.
Quit expecting him to do something that he has no business doing. That's not his strength.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what
look, and I'm not saying get rid of Z. I'm saying let Z be Z. Quit asking him to do stuff that he fails at too often.
Yeah.
And that's covering those damn speedy ass receivers.
Well, it's not just covering the receivers. It's the fact that I say this wholeheartedly, it's the fact that when he's in space and he's forced to be one-on-one with like I said, let's just say like a tight end or somebody who may just be doing like a breaking route. There's times where because of the fact that he can't cover that well, if he bites on a fake going to an outside, that means that you're leaving that inside of that field. You're leaving the middle of the field damn near open, where you generally wouldn't have had that before. And that was something that we talked about before the season started. I said to you, Pat, I said, we're going to have to see how Z's going to work in this particular defense that's going to require him to have to go out there and play in space more and cover more. And it's not just going to be what we had with Gus Bradley's defense last year, where he could just stay, wait for the play to come to him, and then he just goes and he makes a play. And that's something that I think he's going to like. He's had a tough time, and it's like what Colts House. If you can bring up Sammy, the last comment that he put up there, he said that Zaire lacks speed and ball path awareness in the air. He's behind his targets by at least 2 steps. He's not being used the right way. He's built to attack the backfield, which
Exactly.
which honestly, if we had the depth, or at least if we had Carl Eyes, maybe just maybe you could go ahead and put Zaire back there where you're going to potentially have him maybe chase down some of those quarterbacks, possibly just going ahead. Because, like I said, he actually has gotten in there on some blitzes this year where he's been able to get to the backfield. But the problem is, and this goes back to Ballard, we don't have the depth at linebacker because linebacker is another room that they've allowed to kind of dissipate over the years. Like, as we've lost linebackers, we haven't gained any by any stretch of the imagination.
Yep.
So now you like if you had the means to be able to experiment a little bit because you know that you have the depth, then I would say, hey, try that. But you can't do that because right now you have Jermaine Pratt, and after him you have Alubi, which Alubi he has moments, but he's not consistent. Carlisle, we're hoping that he's going to come back, and like it's this thing where it's just like I said, it's the way that the linebacker room has been allowed to kind of dwindle to where it's just like you've just had guys go out. It's the same thing that we've seen when it comes to the tight end room. It's the same thing that we've seen when it comes to the cornerback room, where they just let that go down to nothing. And then you basically just have to do a whole entire blitzkrieg just to go and get enough players in there to fit into a system that you know for a fact you need to do.
Yeah.
And honestly, and he said
we need Bobby O. We need somebody like Bobby O back.
And that's what he said. He said we haven't recovered since letting Bobby walk, and we haven't because, like I said, he's the guy that would have been flying. He's the one that's getting the picks. He's the one right now where on the like in those Giants teams, he's been the vocal guy. He's been making sure like he's keeping people honest. And like I said, I love Z, but the moment you let Bobby go, you basically said that whoever was going to still be there was going to be key. The best linebacking tandem that we had in a very long time was when we had Leonard and we had Bobby. And once both of them were gone, like you saw EJ Speed. EJ Speed is rotational now. And he's playing right where he's supposed to be because he's a rotational guy. But then you also have, Z, who, like I said, for all intents and purposes, he's very, very good at tackling, just going and just being able to attack the backfield, like Holthouse said, but also he's just extremely limited when it comes down to what he can do outside of that, especially in today's game where to a certain extent, linebackers have to basically play like safeties to an extent because you have to be able to cover and you have to be able to hit and make sure that you're getting those stops consistently.
Facts. Nothing but facts right there, sir. Nothing but facts. And I know I'm not the only one feeling this frustration, Chris. If we can see all this, why can't them coaches see it and make the proper adjustments? Now, do you have, a Bobby O that you can throw in there to make that adjustment? No, but you can do things to where you can bring Cross up, you can bring Bynum up. Hell, you can even throw Jones up, in the linebacker position if you're expecting a pass. There's things you can do is what I'm saying. There's multiple things you can do. You don't have to stick with traditional linebackers.
Yeah.
Put Jones there. Let Jones cover that field, the middle of that field. He's got the awareness. He's got the speed. He's got the reach to cover these guys. Switch some stuff up. And it's so frustrating that they don't. Now, maybe I'm completely wrong on putting Jones there. I don't know. But leaving it the way it is not the answer.
Yeah. But but honestly, it's It's the letting it be like this for too long scenario, right? Because we've seen what it is. We know that another part of this defense that needs help is the pass rush. But we also know that we have a guy who is on a fifth-year option right now who we're just okay with letting him walk because he hasn't been nearly what he's supposed to be, not just for the season, but for his career, and that's Kwity Paye.
Yeah.
Kwity is somebody where as much as we want to, as much as we love him, we love the name, we love all that stuff, we have no issue letting him walk, and that's just because of the fact that at this point, it's just like he's not showing anything. He's not showing anything other than being a rotational run stopper. And this was somebody who was supposed to be drafted to be our edge of the future. So at this point, you're running into how do you correct those two things, right? And that's two levels of the defense. You're having to correct trenches.
On that same spot, they let Dio go. And when we lost Grove last year for the suspension, what was it, 6 or 8 game suspension for PEDs or something like that?
Yeah.
They put Dio in Grove's spot, and he was getting to the quarterback. Now put him back on the edge where he's used to. It's natural for him. You got your edge rushers. I think Dio and Latu would have been a hell of a force, but you let them walk.
So I'm not of that mindset, and the only reason why is just because Dio right now, to me, it's just he's shown it in Chicago. Like he was rotational. I think he was hurt. I think he might still be hurt.
I think he's still hurt. Yeah,
but
I'm just saying. I was basically just agreeing with you.
Yeah. No, I know that.
They should have re-signed him and let Paye go, because Paye does. Once every 3 games, he gets to the quarterback.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a factual stat, but just
it's not
quick
just
thought
that
process. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, the issue that you have with Kwity Paye is that he doesn't demand the attention that like Buckner and Latu do. So gotta call. He doesn't demand the attention that Buckner and Latu do. So the problem is when he's getting one-on-one matchups. A one-on-one matchup for an edge to go up against tackle shouldn't be a problem. But the issue then becomes he's not winning one-on-one matchups. And when he's not winning one-on-one matchups, that means that quarterbacks are able to do what they please because the rush isn't getting there. How many times this season was Latu almost there? And the reason why he's almost there is because these quarterbacks they're throwing on timing routes, they're throwing on different routes that make it so that they can go and take the time that they need because you're not winning at the point of attack. And like I said, I hate the talk of Latu because the thing is Latu has done many great things this season. But the issue that you have is at this point, you need to be able to know that if you have an edge rusher, they'll be able to go and affect the quarterback or get to the quarterback as frequently as possible. But we don't have that on the opposite side. So now teams only have to focus a certain amount of attention over there. You can put a tight end over there to chip along with having a blocker, or you can go ahead and double them. And then this way they still have more protection. But, like I said, with this one, it's going to be interesting to see. And I'm not going too far into the future because we're still talking about the game. But it's going to be very interesting to see how Chris Ballard is going to attack fixing this pass rush and fixing this linebacker room, because I don't know how you're going to do it because now, and this is going to be interesting because of the fact that you don't have your first round pick this year, and the majority of your cap space is going to be taken up by what seems to be Daniel Jones getting a payday, and then also what's the name, and then also having Alec Pierce potentially getting a payday.
Yep.
So. I mean,
the only thing in Ballard's favor with that is the TV money. The cap's supposed to go up this year.
Yeah.
with all the new TV contracts and all that BS. So maybe there's going to be room. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting, like you said, for sure. I think Latu's biggest issue on the field, they hold the shit out of him every single play, and the refs never call it. I mean, these guys got arms wrapped around this kid, and they don't call it.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it time and time and time again.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
So but you know what?
Frustrated, Diane. I'm just frustrated. We should not have lost that game. We shouldn't have lost Kansas City. In all honesty, the only game in my eyes that we got our ass kicked is Pittsburgh. That's the only game we should have actually lost. Everything else, they're bad coaching, bad refs. You know, shit that we beat ourselves on, that we shouldn't be doing this at this level.
Yep. And but that's what we've talked about before. It's just like we know what happened in the Rams game. You know what happened in the Chiefs game, like, and then we have this game right here. Like, the Texans have a very, very good defense, so I'm not going to take that away from them.
No,
but
you
have the means to be able to make sure that you're not just allowing teams to potentially impose their will in certain situations where you need to get stops. Because, like, for the life of me, I can't understand why Shane consistently wants to go and try to do this big 90s action hero type of dramatic win when you can literally get the hell up out of there by just going and killing clock and making sure that you're making the team have to work for it more than you're have to working to stop them. These past two games, we've lost the time of possession by a lot. Like, we've lost the time of possession by a lot. Like, we literally, I think, for both games, as a matter of fact, the offense only had the ball for 25 minutes out of the whole entire game. So that's equivalent to a quarter and a third. And that's for the whole entire game. And that's just because when you get into those moments where you can close a game out, where you can run the ball to run the clock down, you can do all those things that you know that you need to do. You're passing, you're getting incompletions. And this was also with, and I'm not saying that Daniel Jones had a crappy game, whatever it was, but what I am saying is that you literally had, you saw it out loud how it goes. Daniel Jones was 14 for 27. So the completions weren't there. Things weren't going the way they were supposed to. You were able to get Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce was killing them deep the way that he always kills the Texans deep. I mean, at this point, you know for a fact that he is going to go and he's going to be able to get behind the cornerbacks and the safeties for the Texans. But outside of that, it's just like there wasn't a whole lot of separations. Like Josh Downs, I don't know what's been going on with him. It looks like over the last couple of games, he hasn't been playing like himself. Michael Pittman Jr. is not separating. So right now, it's just like you got Pierce, you have Warren, and you have Jonathan Taylor, and you know that if they're taking guys out of the game, that means that somebody at some time is going to get open, or you need to scheme something else.
Yep. I was going to say with that stat, I'm not putting too much of this on Jones.
No, I'm not either. For,
because what you just alluded to with Pittman drops, Downs drops, and these are uncharacteristic drops for these guys. I don't know what's going on. But if someone's got the drops out there, change it up, do something else.
Yeah, and that's why, and I don't want what I said to sound like I'm trying to dunk on Daniel Jones, because I don't.
No.
Daniel Jones,
you just mentioned his stat. I didn't take it as you was dunking on him, but I didn't. I just wanted to bring that up. When somebody speaks quarterback stats, they need to speak on catchable balls not being caught as well.
Yeah.
Because he had a lot of catchable balls that were dropped.
Yeah. And that's why I don't know what it is. Like, and the thing is this, that's why, like, I hate that we're playing Jacksonville now, because that's one of those games where it's just like, it's always a weird game with them, right? But now it's just like, we have to go into Jacksonville where generally we always have something crazy happen, and we have to get right in this game. So, like, I don't believe that we won't be able to do it because, I mean, you finally broke the week one curse this year after 11 years. I don't think there's any reason to believe that we can't go into Jacksonville and not have a great game, because I believe that you 100% can. But what I want to see is I want to see I want to see them go back to having a complementary game played where you know that your offense and your defense are both doing everything that they possibly can and being able to consistently go out there and do what needs to be done, because I don't know why we're not playing complementary the way that we did before, where, you know, the offense and defense were kind of playing off of each other. Like, now it's just like you're going to get one or the other. Like, the defense was out there for 42 minutes against Kansas City, and they held them to one touchdown, and they got numerous turnovers. This was another game where numerous turnovers, and yet once again, it's like we're asking for the defense to give them opportunities, and they have. But then for some reason with the offense, it's just not going the way that it's supposed to. I don't know whether it's rhythm, I don't know whether it's chemistry, but that's something that needs to be fixed quick, because it's not like the defense isn't causing turnovers. The defense is absolutely getting turnovers, but like I said, offensively, we got to do more with it. And also,
Absolutely.
then also moving on now.
Okay,
We
we get to
did
the
get
refs.
No. You know what? I'm not even gonna go to because the refs pissed us off. Tony Dungy has said ad nauseum how bad those refs were, and even J.J. Watt said it during the game. He's just like, "Oh, this is one of those games, huh?" Like, it's calling it out for what it is. Like, we know that the phantom extra point that is not reviewable, even though all scoring plays are reviewable. And all of a sudden, we only have one camera angle, even though there's been more than once where we've seen that they have a camera angle on the side of the crossbar, or not side of the crossbar, on the side of the upright, letting you see exactly what it is, because you'd be able to see that ball did not go through that upright.
No, not
Like,
even close.
it was dumb. And then also on that same drive, having a delay of game that was blatant, and yet Kenny's called for PI.
All in the
Like,
same 4-play stretch. All this happened.
Yeah.
You know, I'm seriously going to need Roger Goodell to come out and suspend these referees or fire them for the way they called this game.
Well,
and
I mean,
if he doesn't, he's going to lose this league.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's
I'm
paid.
telling you,
he's extended.
I'm telling you right now, fans will not keep spending the money they do week in and week out on their team if they know that Vegas and Goodell is working together and stacking it for a couple of teams because they got a larger fan base. They're a bigger market. What the hell ever.
Yes.
That will bring this league down, in my opinion. This ain't the WWE. You go to a wrestling match, you know it's scripted.
Yeah.
You still pay your money to go see it. They say the NFL isn't scripted, but then you see shit like this with no accountability.
Yes.
You know, all my life, and I'm 54 years old, I've heard protect the shield, protect the shield, protect the shield. You can't get too drunk and loud at a game because it's going to ruin somebody's time. They will kick you out of the stadium for that because they want to protect the shield. They want families to come and have a good time and spend their money. So my question is, for the NFL, what the hell are you doing to protect the shield? You have all these rules and regulations on players, coaches, organizations, and fans to protect the shield. What the hell are you doing? You're doing nothing, letting these refs get away with these egregious calls.
Yeah. But honestly, it's it's only because of the fact that as somebody who is, who's learned about marketing and learned about all that, the problem is that now as a total fan base, as a total football fan base, they count on the short-term memory of it all, right? Because they're not going to talk about it on social media a lot, but if they do, then they're generally no, you're good. But they're always talking about how literally like the amount of time that people spend talking about things now has lessened immensely. So now that game being poorly officiated for a lot of people, unless it was put in review or unless Carly actually went out there and told Roger Goodell to be like, hey, this is bullshit, we're not going to see anything, because what they're going to do is they're just going to go, they're just going to skate right by it. And they know that fanship, viewership, everything else, they know that it's still going to be there no matter how bad. Like every single game in the playoffs could be awful, and it could be awfully officiated, but you know what's going to happen? The Super Bowl is still going to be the biggest sports game of the year.
Until enough people get sick of it.
Yeah.
It's coming. Hey, Steve, glad you joined. Hey, man, your defense absolutely rocked. Stroud still inconsistent. Ain't going to call him your hometown hero just yet. You guys played well. You played well with the refs. Yeah. Not sure if you paid them or not, but somebody did. Yeah. But to all the traveling Texans that came out to the tailgate, bravo. It was cold, it was windy, and they still showed up in force. We showed up in force at the Blue Crew lot, had a great damn time. The Forge tailgate is still undefeated. Just letting you know.
Absolutely. And you know what? Before we go, because we're almost at time, we also got to talk about, so of course there were some moves made because of the fact that we know that Michael Badgley was playing absolutely horrendous, and he had been playing bad over the last few games. So he was waived today, and they brought in Blake Group, who was formerly of the Saints, as well as I think they talked about Justin Tucker coming in for a tryout, but they ended up signing Blake Group. So Blake Group is going to be the kicker moving forward.
And Teresa asked what we know about him. Teresa, the only thing that I actually know about him is he comes from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Has a pretty good record there. So we'll see.
Yeah. So like I said, we'll see how that happens, but this is the kind of stuff that, like I said, I'm happy about, because if you would have put Badgley out there again for this game coming up, I would know that it's just like you guys are just way too stuck in your ways. But even Shane, he said he knows that he can be good after the game, but he knows that there's definitely, some things that need to be done, some changes that need to be made. And once again, we're seeing exactly what it is. Like, it has to be a lot more. It has to be better. And like I said, I think we've seen. I believe that they absolutely will right the ship, and these games coming up will be better. And Pat, I'm making this prediction right now. Like I said, I know I'm making it 5 weeks early, but that last game of the season, it's going to come down to potentially us versus the Texans, and that's going to be a primetime game. They're going to flex it.
Yep.
So, But with that being said, we are actually gonna roll up out of here. I know we've had a bunch more comments come in. They said if they only scored 3 on that drive, then it would have never made it overtime with a different outcome entirely. The Texans were screwed out of a good game too. Yeah, absolutely. So before we go, and like I said, just want to acknowledge, like I said, you guys were on fire today. We see all the comments. Like I said, we like to make sure that we get to the comments and everything. So, like I said, just keep doing it because, like I said, we appreciate y'all absolutely for. Steve said, "Ain't nobody flex better than him." I'll take your word for it. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's a factual statement from him. It's all. And a hell of a nice guy. If you ever get a chance to go to NRG Stadium, meet up with Steve. It's super, super, super nice guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And y'all heard me on here before talk about the Texans fans, and I absolutely love them. First time I went to NRG, I was in the hotel wearing my Colts jersey, and I had one lady boo me. And about 30 Texans fans turned around and cussed this lady out. Hey, we don't do that shit here. Da, 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 da. And they stood up for me.
Yeah.
And that's the only time. And I've been down there twice now. I might go back down this year. I'm not sure. But yeah, Texans fans are absolutely amazing people. They like to hang out. They like to drink. They like to talk some football. Here and there, there's some shit talking going on. But other than those people, they're just football people. They love to talk football. They when the game's on, they're rooting for their team. When it's after, they're just talking football.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the Texans fans.
Absolutely. So, well, like I said, shout out to them. Shout out to everybody that came through to the tailgate. And so with that being said, you can find us at Clyde is currently on his way back from yet another vacation this year. So
actually he was working the game. He worked his tail off at the tailgate, yeah.
Working the game.
Oh, trust me, he worked his tail off. I'll give him that.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter
at CJ
Colts. No, you're not going to get me.
I'm going to tell you one more time. If you haven't come to a tailgate with Clyde, you're missing out because that dude brings the energy. He'll have you sitting there screaming and hollering the whole time. You got to come to a tailgate with Clyde.
All right. And on that note, Sammy, that was all his fault. So you can find me at CJ Colts fan on Twitter. Where can you find you, Pat?
At Colts Crow Eater still.
All right. And then can you please bring up the podcast page? Yes, and you can find us at Sick Pod Colts, where you can find clips of all the shows, all episodes, whatever you're looking for content-wise, you'll be able to find that on there as well. And on top of that, if you want to hear the replay of this episode, you can actually hear it on Spotify, hear it on Apple Podcasts, but also you make sure you go to z103.com, download the z103.com app on the you can watch it on the app, or you can go to z103.com. You can download the app. Don't do this because you just spent 5 minutes on a tirade, sir. All right. So you can make sure that you go to download those, download the z103.com app. See, look, Sammy, you see this?
Google Store.
You see this? You don't know how to say the Google Store?
I just said the Google Store.
Say it 3 times fast.
Google Store, Google Store, Google Store.
Barely got through that.
Boom.
So go to z103.com. You'll also be able to hear the replay of this episode tomorrow at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central. And you can also go to Mix 105. And when you go to Mix 105, you'll be able to go ahead and hear the replay of this episode as well. Also, can you please bring up the Visit Indy QR code for me? Scan that Visit Indy QR code right now if you can. make sure that when you scan that code, you can see everything going on in the Indianapolis area. You'll be able to see, like I said, the events that are happening. You'll be able to see what type of things for Christmas. I'm pretty sure that Indianapolis has a Christmas village somewhere, and you'll be able to see that on there as well. So definitely make sure you're going to visit Indy, scan that QR code so you can find everything that you can going on in the Indianapolis area. And other than that, that is it for us. Remember, make sure that you keep on liking, commenting, sharing. If there's questions that you have, even if we weren't able to get to them today, make sure that you comment them on any of our socials, even on Facebook, so that we can make sure that we answer those questions next week. But with that being said, everybody have a great rest of your evening. Stay warm. I know it's snowing in a lot of places. And we will see you next week. Sammy, take us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.